Hi, today I'm going to show you how to play Yellow by Coldplay using the right chord shapes. Right, first thing we have to do for this song is tune the first string, the top E, down to an E flat. Easiest way is probably to tune to Mi, so I'll just play that string for you. We could use a tuner. The other strings are standard. Okay, so it sounds like this. Pretty horrible when you just strum like that. Now that's the secret to playing this song, really, is getting that tuning first. Now for the intro, we're playing a couple of chord shapes which are in the song a lot, especially the first one. What you've got to do is put your thumb on the E string, the 6th string at 7th fret, your second finger on the 3rd string at 8th fret, and third finger on the 5th string at 9th fret. And this finger here is just touching the 4th string from above to mute it. It's quite hard not to do that when your thumb's over the top, so that's good. We want that string to be muted, and the first two strings are both open. So we've got this mute, and as far as the strumming goes, I'm not going to analyse the strumming too much. I mainly want to look at the chords today, but try focusing mainly on downstrokes like this. That kind of thing. So downstrokes accenting certain ones. And what happens at that point is the little finger adds on to the 3rd string at 9th fret, so you get this chord. Leave the second finger there because we need to come back to that. So you get something like this. And that's where the lead guitar comes in, and it goes into the next part of the intro. Now this is very similar to the verses, this part. We start off with that first chord. Which was 2 bars. And you move exactly the same shape all the way down to 2nd position, which means your thumb's at 2nd fret, your second finger's at 3rd fret, and your 3rd finger's at 4th fret. But it's the same chord shape, still muting the D string. Still 2 bars, and then you move back 2 more frets. Now that means your thumb isn't needed, because you go back 2 frets like this. Your thumb's now where the open string is. You just take your thumb away. Use the open E string though. 2 bars. And you go back to the first chord again. Just going to demonstrate that. But the verse is very similar to the second half of the intro. We start with this first chord like we did before, move to the second chord, move to the third chord. So I'm just going to give these names so you know what I'm talking about. So we'll call this one B. It's a variation on a B anyway. So we'll call that B, F sharp, E. So you start on the B, go to the F sharp and the E 3 times. But after the second time, you stay on this chord for a bit longer, the B chord, and add the little finger. The simplest way is just to explain this is for me to just to demonstrate it, and I'll play it a bit slower than the song. I'll play the whole verse. You'll notice at the end there I went back to the B and played that chord just before going to the chorus section. Right, the chorus is quite a simple sequence using some of the same chord shapes. But the first one, you know the E that we did here? It's that up an octave. Now when you listen to the actual original recording, it's hard to tell that they're doing this. I think there might be another guitar perhaps doing this, but when you watch them live, or Chris Martin playing it, he always does this for the first chord of the chorus instead of the E down here. This is just the same thing 12 frets up. So it's the same chord, but it sounds really nice, so I'd recommend doing this one for the first sequence, even though it's hard to tell that that's what's happening on the record. We've got that chord. Then we move down to fourth position, which is here. Get the thumb back on again. That's the shape we've been doing before in different places. But this one's minor, which means you need to take your second finger away and put your first finger on the third string instead. So we've got a thumb on the 4, third finger on the 6. This fourth string, very importantly, is still muted. It has to be muted for all of these chords. And then we've got a 4 on the third string and the last two are open. So it sounds like this. So we go from that one to that. So I didn't take this finger off, it just slid down. And then we move to the third chord that we were doing earlier, the F sharp one, which is major. You do that 3 times, but second and third times, instead of this E up here, we do the lower one. I'll just demonstrate it. Before I do, another important thing here, the F sharp chord here is pushed, and that means it comes in slightly early, just before the beat. If that's the beat, you change now, rather than on the beat, you change just before. So when my hand was up in the air, that's where you change. You'll hear it. And on the end, I just played the E just to finish the chorus. Then there's a bridge, which is like a little instrumental part where the lead guitar comes back in again. That's the same as the verse, it's the same sequence. The only other thing in the song, on the acoustic guitar, is the ending. So it's kind of the last verse. This is my favourite bit of the song. I think it's an absolutely amazing chord that they changed to here, and I think it's a real genius songwriting trick to do this. You've heard these same chords all the way through the song and suddenly they change it for the ending. I think it's very clever. So the first chord is the B one again, like we've been doing. Instead of going to the F sharp like we've been doing before, goes to almost like an F sharp minor-ish kind of chord. And it's like this. Thumb is on the second fret of the 6th string still. Your second finger goes on the second string, 2nd fret. And your first finger is on the 1st string, 1st fret. Now as far as muting strings goes, at this point, we've got to mute the 5th and the 4th strings. So thumb's already over there, so it just needs to go over a bit more to touch the 5th string. Second finger can mute the 4th string from underneath. It's a bit fiddly to get the hang of this, but it's important to mute those two. And the second string is open. So we've got 2, mute, mute, 2, open, 1. Really good chord. And then after that we play the E chord that we've been playing all along with the muted 4th string. And that's how it ends. I'll just play that ending for you. That's everything in the song. So any questions, please put them in the comments. Please click like, suggest other songs you want to see lessons on as usual. Subscribe if you haven't already. That would be great if you can do that. Thanks. And yeah, let me know if you have any issues with playing this one. It's a little bit awkward getting that thumb over the top, but see how you get on. I think it's the best way to play it. It's the way Chris Martin plays it. There's other ways you can do this. So if you also want to see a lesson on an alternative way of playing this, it'll still sound good, but be slightly different from how he does it, let me know. If a few people want that, I can do it. Okay, thanks.